spending money is not a fun activity, at least for some people. I love bringing my wallet to its absolute knees. But does spending more money on a gaming laptop really give you extra value? Well, today we'll be comparing the cheapest gaming laptop you can buy with a very expensive one. So let's find out if spending 3 times the money gives you 3 times the value. If you enjoy this video, please subscribe. To absolutely nobody's surprise, if you spend more money, you'll get a higher quality product. The MSI Thin 15 is fully made of plastic, so it flexes quite a bit on its body. But the Zephyrus G14 has a full aluminum body, so it feels very sturdy and it can probably stop a bullet. The overall user experience is also a lot more comfortable on the G14. It's very lightweight and it basically handles like a luxury car. The Thin 15 on the other hand is more heavy and unbalanced, and that really shows when trying to open it with one hand. And apparently, if you give a brand enough money, they'll also shove all the parts in a way more tightly packed package. Lord knows I know what that's like. More money also means leagues better specs. The Zephyrus G14 is basically a couple generations ahead in terms of what's inside. The Thin 15's GPU is also cucked. That RTX 3050 is only getting 45 watts of maximum power. Meanwhile, the Zephyrus G14 has an RTX 4070 with double that power limit. So it'll obviously curb stomp the poor Thin 15. But will it outperform it by 3 times, just like the price increase? Well, we'll see that later once we compare their benchmarks and gaming tests. However, they are very competitive in terms of their port selection. The MSI Thin 15 has an extra Ethernet port, while the Zephyrus does not. But the Zephyrus G14 has newer and faster USB A and C ports, which will allow for faster data transfers. So it really depends on the person for which one is better here. Their chargers are a pretty similar size, but the G14's brick is heavier since it needs to deliver a lot more power. Meanwhile, the Thin 15's power brick feels like one of those styrofoam bricks they use in cheap Chinese skyscrapers. I love you, China, please don't hate me. Oh, and the Zephyrus supports USB-C charging, while the Thin 15 does not. Their keyboards are vastly different though. They both do have backlighting, but the Zephyrus has a full RGB backlight, while the Thin 15's keyboard only has a blue color. The Zephyrus G14 feels nice to type on and has a very balanced typing experience. The Thin 15 is fine to type on, but it feels a bit rattly. And this one key was actually dead out of the box, so it sounds like someone's collarbone breaking. The same goes for their trackpads. Minus the fact that the Zephyrus's trackpad is obviously a lot bigger, it's also made of glass. While the Thin 15 has a plastic trackpad, which feels a lot cheaper. And you can really hear and feel the difference between these two. It's a bit like we're comparing one of those toy phones you give to your kid with an iPhone 16 Pro Max. And we can keep going with the display. The Zephyrus G14 has a 3K 120Hz OLED display, while the Thin 15 has a Full HD 144Hz LCD display. And I probably don't have to tell you that the OLED looks way better than the Thin 15's fake IPS display. The colors are 10 times more vibrant and accurate, and the blacks are, well, actually black. The Zephyrus also gets double as bright as the Thin 15, which is very noticeable for outside use. And while the Thin 15 does actually have a higher refresh rate at 144Hz, its pixel response times are a lot worse than the instant pixels of the G14's OLED. So it has a considerable amount of ghosting. And as for the hinges, I don't really have to say anything, right? I'm pretty sure this speaks for itself. Oh yeah, and obviously the resolution on the Zephyrus display is a lot higher, so everything just looks better. Alright, let's get serious for a second. Here's their speaker comparison. The Zephyrus lineup of laptops have the best speakers in any Windows laptop by far. But I'm not gonna lie, the speakers in the Thin 15 are not horrible. They do sound a bit muffled, but they're decently tuned. Yeah, the Zephyrus still has better sound quality, more noise, it has surround sound, and it has leagues more bass. But the Thin 15 speakers are perfectly usable for anything casual or just gaming. The webcam on the Thin 15 is only 720p, which is why it looks like an Android phone from 2013. And its microphone is also quite a bit worse than on the Zephyrus G14. Now let's finally see if spending 3 times the money gives you 3 times the performance as well. In Cinebench R23, it's actually not as huge of a difference as I thought. The Thin 15's chip is on the bottom of the graph, but it's not a massive difference. In 3D Mark TimeSpy, however, yeah, the Zephyrus G14 has like double the GPU performance. But real-world use is a lot more important. So how do they compare in gaming?
Huh? Okay. I love you, man. Huh? Okay.
Kinda game.
You motherfucker, man. You motherfucker. Fuerte, cabrón. Ik weet dat ze de hond die verdrinkt.
Wow, the more expensive laptop is faster than the cheaper laptop. What a surprise, right? But the Zephyrus G14 did not get triple the performance of the Thin 15. It was more like double, which is pretty goddamn close. I do have to say though that the Thin 15 had a very stable gaming experience. It had no stutters or hitches, and it was just all around a nice gaming experience. Now you'd think the Thin 15 has a bigger battery since it's a bigger laptop, you know? And since it has a slower processor, that also means just less power usage, right? Well, I compared their battery life in light use and during gaming. Under light use, I played a YouTube video until they both died with their displays at full brightness at 60 Hz with their keyboard backlights off. The Zephyrus lasted pretty long at just under 10 hours, but the Thin 15 only lasted like 4.5 hours, which is not a lot for simple YouTube video playback. And in the gaming test, I played Battlefield 1 with the same settings as before, with their power profiles on balanced or performance mode. Now, gaming laptops die very quickly when trying to play games on battery, so they both did not last very long. But the Zephyrus did last a little longer. Yeah, for some reason the battery in the Thin 15 is tiny for its size, which is very unfortunate. In terms of temperatures, both of their CPUs did get a bit on the toasty side during heavy workloads or gaming, but at a maximum of 95 degrees Celsius, it is still safe. The Thin 15 did manage to keep its GPU cooler though, but that's not very hard when it sips power and uses only 45 watts maximum. And as for fan noise, the Zephyrus has a slightly higher pitched sound, but they both get about as loud. But in terms of upgradeability, the Thin 15 finally wins something, and it wins by a lot. The Zephyrus G14 only has an upgradable M.2 SSD and an upgradable Wi-Fi card. But the Thin 15 has an upgradable SSD, a Wi-Fi card, and even 2 SODIMM slots for cheap and easily upgradable RAM. It's really sad that spending 3 times the money gives you less upgradeability. But then again, the Zephyrus is a very thin device, so I guess it is a bit understandable. And again, in terms of pricing, the Thin 15 has a huge advantage here. Basically everywhere in the world, it is the cheapest gaming laptop you can buy, costing only between 600 and 700 bucks. Meanwhile, the Zephyrus G14's MSRP is 1800 bucks, but it can be found for cheaper with some nice deals. So let's compare it here. For 1800 bucks, you can either buy the Zephyrus G14 or the Thin 15, a Nintendo Switch, a PlayStation 5, and even a budget phone. Or in another scenario, you could just buy the Thin 15 for a laptop and also a separate, very nice mid-range gaming PC. So here's the big question then. Which one of these two is more worth it? Well, to absolutely nobody's surprise, the Zephyrus G14 is better in literally every single way. The MSI Thin 15 feels cheap, it has a lower than average gaming performance, it's pretty poopy to use, and on my unit, a part was broken out of the box. The only real advantages that the MSI Thin 15 has here is that Ethernet port, its upgradable RAM, and that dirt cheap price. But that price is a huge advantage. Like I said before, for the price of the Zephyrus G14, you could literally just buy the Thin 15 together with a very nice gaming PC. And trust me, that gaming PC would be faster than the Zephyrus G14. But of course, you can take a gaming PC with you. Look, the reality is these two laptops are not for the same people. The Zephyrus G14 is pretty much the best all-in-one portable device. But that costs a lot of money, and only people that have money are even looking to buy this thing. Meanwhile, the Thin 15 is meant for people with less money, so think poorer countries or kids that saved a lot of birthday money. Either way, both of these devices will be the right device for someone. But I'm sticking with the Zephyrus G14. Are you kidding me? Get this filthy device off my table. Oh God, great heavens. What a preposterous idea. Now let me give a huge shout out to my YouTube members. Inky, Soundwive, Thomas, Mr. Frosty Dude, Dropzone1, Martijn Snijkers, David Gill, and Felix Nathan. If you become a YouTube member, you get early access to content of mine, a shout out at the end of every video, and you'll support me as a creator to make these videos. And you'll also be part of the Cool Guys Club, so you can use gifts like these in the comment section. So please join the club if you're interested. And that is pretty much it for today, folks. I will see you all in the next video. Bye bye.
Oh wow, that must hurt. Oh, I love you, Sign. Thank you.